Leon.
How old am I?
I don't know.
My birthday's April 10, 2017. How long do I live?
4 years.
The first of many Cyberpunk movies, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner embodies all that Cyberpunk has to offer. Despite lukewarm box office performance in 1982, Blade Runner has earned its place as one of the most important films in science fiction cinema. It tells the story of hard-boiled Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, being tasked with the retirement of several escaped replicants who have made their way to Earth. The movie was Ridley Scott's visually fantastic science fiction adventure after the rising star finished directing the space horror hit Alien. This film not only has philosophical subject matter, neon aesthetics, and powerful storytelling devices, but also receives further consideration due to the multiple versions of the film itself. Since its release in 1982, fans have discussed the pros and cons of each new release, which are 7 in total. Blade Runner has become a fixation with Cyberpunk fandom. William Gibson was famously enamored with the movie. Fearing the similarities between the film and his upcoming novel, Neuromancer, famously rewrote a large portion of the book. Seriously, man, can you even call yourself a Cyberpunk fan if you haven't seen Blade Runner? Maybe you just need a little convincing. So why don't you sit tight, son, and we'll tell you about this movie that you gotta see.
Smart.
Honestly, most people love Harrison Ford, but not everyone loves every performance of Harrison Ford. But Deckard is a guy you get. He's a hard-drinking, tough guy who has some obvious trauma and issues in his past. But he's still trying to figure out how he's going to do the right thing. He's a frustrated and troubled guy, just trying to do his job despite his misgivings. So Deckard is tough, yet vulnerable. He barely holds his own against the replicants in a long, drawn-out fight scene. You sense that the difference in strengths and endurances will turn against him in favor of the replicants, but unlike most movies, where the hero wins on his own, Deckard lives in this, quote, real world, a world where other factors shape the situation. In the fight against Leon, played by Brian James, Deckard's about to be killed when he is saved by another replicant. Rachel, Sean Young, is someone with whom Deckard initially has empathy for. By the end of the movie, they're in a complicated relationship, and boy is it complicated. Deckard's flaws may be his greatest trait in Blade Runner. Los Angeles has a complicated relationship with science fiction. In many films, a very bright and clean LA will be blown up and decimated. Blade Runner's vision of the future is a more realistic and accurate one. A very dirty, crowded, and loud world looms all around the denizens of Los Angeles. There's no end to the lights, the noise, and the color of the polluted atmosphere. William Gibson was right to worry about the sprawl. Blade Runner galvanized the neo-noir mood that set the tone for the emerging cyberpunk culture. The cars look like something man would build and mass-produce to fly around a crowded and complicated city. Even the rain seems gross because of the smog. Everything looks grimy and old, even though it's meant to imply a near-time future that has, by now, already happened. Synthetic humans play a recurring role in Ridley Scott's early work. In Alien, they're used as a plot twist. One of the characters is revealed to be a synthetic, working for the evil corporation, with secret counter-orders that result in the death of the human crew. In Blade Runner, Scott builds upon this idea. The replicants were initially built as slave labor force. The Nexus 6 replicants are automatically the bad guys, even though they just want to live. The only real way to ensure control over a physically strong and mentally superior fighting force is to build in automatic protections. In the case of the Nexus 6 units, it's a life cycle of only 4 years. Replicant leader Roy Batty, played absolutely beautifully by Rutger Hauer, can feel his body slowly failing him, and he is trying desperately to save his own life. He is desperate to stay alive. His crew of remaining replicants make for a sympathetic and interesting counter to Deckard's decidedly human condition. Where Deckard feels broken and in some way sad, they seem determined and desperate to live. This desperation makes them badass machines, with Roy punching through the walls, squashing heads, and breaking Deckard's fingers one by one as punishment for the murder of other replicants. Even though he is a killing machine on his last leg, he still finds time for an existential monologue about his short, complicated life.
All those moments will be lost in time.
Whew. Tears in rain, man. Tears in rain. What does it mean to be human? The core themes of the movie surround humanity, identity, transhumanism, and agency. Replicants and humans are basically the same. Early in the movie, Deckard applies the replicant discovery Voight-Kampff test to Rachel. He discovers that she is a replicant but doesn't realize it. That's a scary idea. It is humanity that many of the replicants are chasing throughout the movie. They feel human, they just want to be free to live like humans. It's a crazy thing to watch the reps chase something that we take for granted. But what is it really? Even in the climax of the film, Roy Batty is still chasing his humanity. He saves Deckard, a man sworn to kill him. Blade Runner raises the question that is implicitly asked throughout the film. Are we human enough? One thing that has been discussed anytime you talk about Blade Runner is the massive following behind what was essentially a cinematic flop. It basically broke even at the box office. The multiple forthcoming cuts have made various changes to the film. The director's cut notably removed Deckard's voiceover from the theatrical cut. Harrison Ford has stated that the voiceover should have never been in the film to begin with. Recently, Blade Runner: The Final Cut was released on Blu-ray and streaming services such as Netflix and HBO Max. It is considered Ridley Scott's specific vision of the film. This version maintains his creative control and input. The question that is always asked amongst fans is which version is the best. Blade Runner is one of the films you really just have to watch to understand. It's got a ton of great stuff. Robot humans, rogue former cops, great lighting, practical special effects, and a great soundtrack. It's a film that keeps people coming back for more and more over the years, so much that it spawned the sequel Blade Runner 2049, starring Ryan Gosling. Now tell us you don't want to watch Blade Runner. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe for all the latest Cyberpunk videos, where we tell you what you gotta see.